Die, monster, die. Back when I was a teenager, the cinema across the street from the apartment building where I lived with my mom would put on midnight shows, and 14-year-old me was in there like a dirty shirt. The shows started at midnight with screenings of 4 or 5 feature films and usually ended around 8 a.m. when you went home to sleep till noon. I lived in a 3-shift factory town, so the largely male audience was a mixed bag of noisy teens and men in their 20s, which made for some interesting badinage. Badinage. As for the movies themselves, they were late model horror films, usually from American International Pictures, including all the Roger Corman Edgar Allan Poe flicks. One favorite scene, which led to some rude comments from the older audience members, was the wine tasting contest in 1962's Tales of Terror, where Montresor Herringbone, played by Peter Lorre, beats Fortunato Lucrezi, Vincent Price, while Lorre is drunk. Ah, yes, Burgundy, 1832, and from the good slopes of the valley too. It's very good. Burp. That was Peter Lorre, not me. Well, Lorre was the hero of that particular midnight show. But the funniest moment of all took place during a screening of Die, Monster, Die, an adaptation of H.P. Lovecraft's The Color Out of Space, which starred Boris Karloff. At the end of the film, when a radioactive Boris runs amok, a drunk guy stood up in front of the screen, raised his arms, and began running around bellowing, "I'm a monster! I'm a monster!" He was quickly taken in charge by the off-duty cop who was providing security. At intermission, we saw him drinking coffee in the lobby, and when a friend of mine offered to trade him a $5 bill for a 20, the monster growled, "Kid, I'm drunk. But I ain't that drunk." You know, Die, Monster, Die is a visually striking film directed by Daniel Haller, who designed the sets for the Roger Corman Poe films. But I can't watch the ending without collapsing into hysterical laughter. Maybe I should watch it while drunk or run around in my underwear screaming, "I'm a monster! I'm a monster!" Unfortunately, the other thing I remember from those midnight screenings is a pratfall. My pratfall. The theater was owned by a French-Canadian family who had a daughter who I had the hots for. She was at one of the screenings, sitting at the end of my row. One intermission, as I walked past her seat, I stooped to try and steal a kiss, and tripped and fell flat on my face, to the amusement of most of the audience. Hell, they actually started clapping. The look of total disdain the young woman gave me was one I would sadly become all too familiar with whilst on the dating scene. Talk about being a sophisticated guy or what. Swaving to boner, right? But But if this is your first visit to my channel, don't give up on me. Don't give up. My name is Warren, and I write and tell original ghost stories and original horror stories featuring such cryptids as the Night Floaters, werewolves, and the Black-Eyed Children. And I hope you will consider subscribing. Please help me to reach my goal of 2,500 subs, and I'm almost there. Till midnight. I'm a monster! I'm a monster! I'm a Warren. I'm a monster!